MLS Next Pro is expanding. Jason, the news of the week: Grand Rapids will join MLS Next Pro. And within that press release, it was also noted independent teams like Cleveland, Jacksonville Armada, and Connecticut United will be joining in the next couple years. So, what do you make of MLS essentially creating their own minor league here?
Yeah, there's a couple ways to look at this. You know, one of them is, hey, the league needs to grow. If they really want this to be interesting to anybody, it can't just be the reserve teams. It can't just be Chicago Fire 2 and New York Red Bulls 2 and Philadelphia Union 2. And man, I really hate the 2 part of this. I know that's the rest of the world kind of does this too, but I'm not a big fan of it. They got to add independent teams. And okay, Rochester didn't work. That was a complete bust. The other way to look at it from the other side of that equation is some of these teams, in the case of the Grand Rapids team, which I think is going to be called right now it's just called Western
I think
Michigan.
it's just a fill-in template. It's just
All
West
right.
Michigan soccer
Right.
team.
Let's not even get into the fact that the DeVos family is involved and the stadium's going to be called Amway Stadium. Let's not even start with
Yeah, I was
that,
gonna
Rob.
say we
I don't
can't
want
shake
to.
those folks.
I don't want to. This is the thing, though. So Mike Thomas is saying, I question the ambition of any owner who is joining MLS Next Pro over a USL Pro League. I have to believe that this is a matter of financial questions, right? This is a matter of, hey, what's our lowest barrier for entry? Now, the DeVos family is not wanting for cash. I don't know exactly why they would need to save money on going pro, but I think for some of these teams, it might be, well, we want to make sure that this is a going concern for a long time. Can we justify spending more money to enter USL over MLS Next Pro? If indeed that is the price point question, right? I don't know what the price point question is for these ownership groups. The other part of this, the thing that upsets a lot of people, is that this is once again we're back in the game of risk in American soccer, which is grab as much territory as you can. Everybody's got to go grabbing that, and it's not even necessarily I think we can succeed there, or that's the best thing for soccer, or even the best thing for our league in terms of competitive level or whatever. It's we just want to make sure we have that market so nobody else can get it. We want to be there first, just in case that turns out to be a good soccer market. Papering the map, just adding dots because you can, rather than as a means to actually benefiting the game in the United States. At the same time, it would be naive as hell not to recognize that that's what we are in this country, right? This is my theory of what much of what's wrong with American soccer and how it grows is that it is always leagues, and leagues are businesses, and businesses think differently than if you have clubs who are choosing to get together to form a competition because we want to play games against one another, right? Which is how most leagues in the world were originally born. This you would call it a franchise model and use it as a slur if you want, but it clearly the problem is we might not have soccer the way it is in America if we didn't have a franchise model. If MLS wasn't born as a league first and then, okay, let's figure out where to put teams or let's figure out what our structure is. And here you have MLS doing what is sort of natural for a business in America to do, which is grow as a means of cornering the market, of controlling as much of your market share as you can. But that's probably not what's best for American soccer. So because we don't have this cultural responsibility to one another to do what's best for the game rather than what's best for our business always leads, you get this. You get Grand Rapids entering MLS Next Pro and putting out that like holder that placeholder logo. Did you see it? It's not even a logo. It's just the badge, but they use the MLS Next Pro font, which is an abomination.
Yes, which is they've stuck with it for so long
It
too.
is an abomination. This is why I question MLS Next Pro mostly. Yeah, okay, it's a reserve league, and they're adding these independent teams, and what is this really about? Is it about a land grab? But really, I question MLS on the fact that they stuck with the damn font, which nobody can figure out what is happening there.
They're willing to step away from teams, they're willing to step away from leagues and competitions, but the MLS Next Pro font that is widely panned, they will stick with it. And what might answer the question is why MLS Next Pro and not USL. this West Michigan Soccer 2027 team is organized and is being launched by like the three families that own like half of Michigan, the DeVosses, and the Van Andels, and the Van Andel family are minority owners in FC Cincinnati already, and
Yeah.
the DeVos family already minority owners in Orlando City and the Orlando
Well, I
Pride.
mean,
So
think about it this way too. It's not just about, hey, we want to start a soccer club in Grand Rapids because we like soccer and we like Grand Rapids. No, it's we want to be invested as people who think about their money in terms of investment in Major League Soccer, right? And this is Major League Soccer as a company selling shares, effectively selling investment into their product, saying, hey, super wealthy people, you know what you should do? You should put some of your money with us because we're a growth proposition. That's what it is, right? I mean, you can't think of it any other way. And I know that it's kind of gross, and it runs counter to our feelings about the game and why we care about it. Now, and there's only so far you can all kind of like be okay with that sort of mentality when you also recognize that this is how soccer grows in America, or it has. Now, is there another way for soccer to grow in America without this kind of mentality, without the investment first mentality? I don't know. Here's Harry. It's all about control. MLS and USL wants control of the system since USSF will not control the soccer pyramid. And here's the problem. U.S. soccer cannot control the soccer pyramid. U.S. soccer does not have the capability within the law to control the soccer pyramid in America. What they have is the ability to organize the national teams, and by virtue of their position sort of in that role, they can do the sanctioning for, you know, youth leagues and registering players and all of that stuff. But you've seen what happens, and I'll bring this into it too. The NASL has just named a new commissioner. Okay, you're like, wait a second, what? The NASL?
Still
Why do
there?
they need a commissioner? They don't even play games. They don't even have teams. Well, the word out is that we know for a fact there is supposed to be a trial next month over that lawsuit that Rocco Commisso and the NASL filed against U.S. Soccer and MLS. Right? That is still winding its way through the courts, and we were supposed to have a trial next month. Now, I've also heard, and I can't disclose where, and I don't even know if any of this is true, so don't hold me to it. But I've heard there's a possibility of a settlement, right? Because usually these things end in settlement before they ever get to trial. Nobody really wants to go through the disclosure process and all this stuff and risk a much bigger penalty than what you could settle for. And if U.S. Soccer and MLS and the parties involved in this lawsuit settle with Rocco Commisso and NASL, there's a chance the NASL could be revived. They could have the money to revive their league. And I can't say to Rocco or NASL, you shouldn't start. Don't start the league again. This is bad for American soccer. What are you doing? Because that's not how competition works in America. This is why U.S. soccer can't be in control. Because as soon as they try to do any of that, somebody sues them. Right? And you could say, well, Rocco was right. U.S. soccer did wrong things with sanctioning and the standards, and they tried to force out NASL. But again, what you're saying is no one should have total control in order to dictate how our pyramid works. Right? But if no one has control, then everybody has a better mousetrap. Everybody has an opportunity to start their own thing and say, well, I know how to do it, and I don't care if there's already 8 operating men's outdoor professional soccer leagues in America. We need a 9th. And then we just continue with the chaos. We continue with the land grab. We continue with the cannibalization of American soccer.
Yeah, fracturing of just the sport in general, because, I mean, trying to explain to someone where everyone plays and how the competitions even interact is a whole handful. And this, both the growth of MLS Next Pro and the addition or, you know, possible revival of NASL will only lead to more. I mean, the soccer romantics here in Michigan definitely were pulling for Grand Rapids to join the same league as Detroit USL Championship, but clearly not in the cards. Throw your opinion into the chat, guys. We've been getting some feedback on this one. Continue to do so. We'll revisit that. And in this whole idea of monopolizing competitions, we'll spill into our next segment. Before we get into that, remind you guys, hit the subscribe button. Hit the effing button is the theme for the rest of the year. We're trying to hit 500 by the end of 2024. The only Christmas present you have to get us is hit the darn button.